Hey guys, and welcome to Devlog 9 of the Animal Behavior Kit. I know it's been a little while, but I finally had a little bit of time to record, so I wanted to give you guys an update on what I've been working on. I had to take a few days off for the Easter weekend, super busy. However, I have made some progress. Some stuff that is, in my opinion, pretty exciting. Some of the stuff, not as much, but still necessary. So let's start with the really cool stuff that I wanted to work on. This is further improvements to the companion pet system, taming system. So as you can see here, I have this spider, and I'm going to tame her. And as you can see here, a lot of the systems in the kit have now been modularized and put into their own individual components, as opposed to being all in one massive animal class. So that has taken a long time, but now if you want to make an animal a companion, all you need to do is drop this component here. So before we do that, let me just quickly make the damage of this animal high. Damage amount 3, let's make the damage 10, because I want to show something here. But the first thing I'll show as far as companions is that I've added a stance mechanic. So now there's a lot of new options, but there's a stance now, and you can have the stance be passive or aggressive. And this is very similar to, if you look at games like World of Warcraft, if your pet is passive and you get attacked, pet won't do anything, right? So just in this example, let me go back here to the bait. In this example, I want to tame the spider, right? And the stance is passive. So I'm going to name her Charlotte. And she's just following me around, right? I'm going to tell her to stay there. And I'm going to walk to this bear, which is going to start attacking me. And as soon as I start getting attacked, you can see on the left-hand corner that I'm actually getting damaged. But nothing's happening, right? I told my pet to stay there, and she is staying there, even though I'm taking damage. But if I go back here and make her stance aggressive, I'm pretty sure you know what's going to happen here. I go ahead and tame her again. I'm going to tell her to stay there, and I'm going to walk to the bear one more time. I'm going to make myself invulnerable. You can see that the spider is automatically coming and attacking the bear. So very simple change, but this basically means that now you can make your pet aggressive. If somebody ever attacks you and you have a pet, the pet will then attack the NPC attacking you. And as you can see, the bear is still trying to attack me. I'm invincible. And then the spider is attacking him. And then as soon as the bear dies, whoops. Then the spider goes into passive mode and goes from staying there to follow me. If you look at the commands on the right, she automatically went idle, and then she's now following me again. So pretty cool. The other one you already saw, which is the ability to have a marker, and you'll see what I mean with that in a second here. So let's go to this other example here. And we have a group of deer. We have the group leader being this buck here and a bunch of does. And I'm going to do the same thing with this spider. But in this case, I want to show that I also added a taming mode. And a taming mode is basically how can you tame the animal. And the default is I need to use the bait. And you have specific type of bait. You can have a bait for prey or for predator, right? In your game, you can have maybe fruits for the prey, right? Maybe you have specific food for deer or whatever other pet, wolves. But maybe you want specific types of meat for certain animals. So you can do that with the bait system, and you do it with a tag. But maybe in your game, you don't want to even deal with bait, right? You just want to be able to go close and just tag the animal, right? And you can do that by using the taming mode, always tameable. And if I click play here, you'll see that as soon as I approach, the tame button or the tame notice appears, and I can just tame this animal. and it's perfectly tamed. I didn't have to use any bait. So in this case, there is no bait needed, obviously. So that's another cool thing. So now you have the option of having your pet be passive or aggressive based on the stance. And you can choose to either use the bait system or just always tameable. Again, maybe you want to use this system and add your own custom code to have like a level. Again, maybe like an MMO. You have to have some certain skill points to be able to tame, certain pets, and that way you can do it this way. There's always the marker, show marker, and if I take that off and I try to tame the spider, you'll see that it just has the name here, right? But why would you want the marker? The marker is actually pretty neat because this is a screen space widget, which means that you can see the widget even through LOS, right? So if I tell the spider to stay here and I go around this corner here, you can still see through the wall where she is, right? So you can see here, because again, it's a screen space effect. And no matter how far I go, the size of the widget will still stay the exact same. So pretty neat. Again, this is such a small change, but it's a quality of life change. Maybe your pet goes following another NPC and attacking it around the corner, and you want to know where that NPC is and your pet is. Okay. Cool. Oh, and one more thing I did want to show is I did make some changes to the, let me just name her again. I'm going to tell her to stay, and I'm going to go invisible for the deer here. If I tell the spider to attack someone, like I'm gonna tell her to attack this bug here. Oops. Well, I'm just gonna leave it at this though. You'll see that now the NPC that's been focused has this green widget on top, and my pet now has the little C for companion on top. So this is the same principle. These are both screen space widgets, right? Screen based. So even if I'm LOS'd, if I can't even see where my pet is or my target is, I can see just by the icons where they are. And this guy's about to die here. And then as soon as the doe dies, then my pet immediately goes back to following me, as you can see here. Cool. One last thing, there's yet one more problem. I saw on the forums some user made the AI with the ability to jump. So far, obviously the AI is using a nav mesh, and if you want to have really complicated levels, right, with platforms and things like that, it's going to be very hard for your AI to follow you. You'll have to use ramps or maybe nav mesh links, things like that. So I saw that, I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. Maybe I can make the companion be able to jump. That way the companion can actually follow you. But that created its own problems because, again, the player can do a lot of different things that even just a simple jumping AI may not be able to keep up. So what I did is I opted to have the AI teleport to you. And this is what the teleport settings are here. So basically, the AI will teleport near the player if it gets farther than the specific distance here. So if I say, okay, if the AI is at any point farther than 10,000 units, it'll automatically teleport close to the player, right? Maybe the AI got lost, or maybe you just went really far on the level and you don't want your AI to slowly go all the way across, try to get to you. So you want the AI to just teleport to you. So that's one use case, right? So if I go here and I, try to tame her, and I tell her to stay, right, and I go all the way to this corner here, as soon as I tell her to follow me, well, I'm trying to get farther than 10,000 units here. I guess I'm not 10,000 units, but you get the idea. If I get too far, more than 10,000 units, the spider will teleport to me. The other use case is if I'm out of LOS, and this, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this, but this is again for the use case that, let's say that I'm jumping here, right? How will the spider get to where I am, right? So if I lose LOS with the spider will automatically teleport near me, right? So you can see if I jump down, there's no LOS, the spider doesn't have LOS, and it'll automatically teleport near me. So you have those two use cases, right? You can choose to have LOS, and you can choose to have the distance. And I think that's a pretty good compromise, because again, even though there's a nav mesh, because there is no ramp here, how is the spider going to get here, right? So now it just teleports to you. There's the use case here, which is, in this case, let's say I completely jump out of the level here, I'm really far, the spider's going to teleport near me, as you can see, because I'm really far, more than 10,000 units away. Now the spider can't move because there's no nav mesh here, obviously, but in your level, you should be able to obviously see the nav mesh is here, and the spider teleported here outside of the nav mesh. But regardless, it's just one more thing that you can do to make sure that that your companion stays with you. I may consider doing something like Warcraft, where you can summon and dismiss your pet, and that would probably fix all of the problems. So instead of having something like LOS or distance, if the pet gets lost, maybe you can just press a button and summon the pet to you, and that should literally just fix everything. But again, I don't know if that's the direction that I want to go with. So those are the changes that I want to talk to you about. Obviously, these are just improvements to the companion system. Again, stance, aggressive or passive. You can choose to use or not use the bait system. You can have settings here for the AI to teleport to you if you get too far away or you're completely out of LOS. And the other thing is that I've been doing a lot of work with changing and modularizing the kit. So you can see here all of the different components. Component for companion, a component for a custom need, a component for animals to be in a group. Like these guys here are all in the same group. So if I click on one of these guys, you'll see that there's a component, comp group. And here you have to specify the group manager and whether it's active, what's the group tag, and who's the leader. In this case, this guy's the leader. All of these those here have the same component, same group tag, same group manager, but they're not the leader. So this functionality, again, is nothing new, so it's not super exciting to show you, but this is all now making it modular. So now, when you're building your animals, your NPCs, you can pick and choose what functionality you want, and everything is really nicely self-contained. Same thing for if you want them to look for mate, natural death, the regular needs system, which is thirst and hunger, is there. Population control, which I showed on the previous episode, I think, in that devlog. If you want them to spawn loot when they die, you have a component for that. Again, depends on the type of game, and then you can specify the class. And then this is an old, I'm going to delete this one. This is the old code. So all of these different things are done in a way to make it a lot more elegant and more flexible. And then you can just create your children classes with as many components as you want, and it'll just work. So that's the idea. Yeah, cool. So I have still a lot of cleanup to do. So if I go to the character, for example, there's another cool thing. I was trying to make the character abilities into actor components, the same thing as the animals here. Because again, if you're trying to, you already have a project, you want to add this kit into your project. Well, there are certain abilities that the character here has, like shooting bait, becoming invisible, becoming invulnerable, being able to interact and tame animals. Those are blueprint functions and events that were here in the character blueprint. So what I did is I actually created a module, which is an actual actor component. It's called ABK Player module. And this is a full actor blueprint, and it has most of the code. You can see here, the actions are crouch, sprint, camera, aim, shoot, toggle visibility, switch baits, shoot the bait, all of these things, the baiting, the taming actions, all of this code is in this actual actor component. And what I did is I actually used on the player character a child actor component here, so you can see here, and then added that module here. As you can see that a lot of these original functions I marked for deletion, like for example, shoot bait code. If I open this function, you see that I disconnected the wire here. So basically I'm testing everything, and then I'm going to start deleting from the actual player character. So things like switch bait that was originally here, it's now in the player module here. So you can see here, it's the exact same function, but I had to modify it to get data from the parent. So this is really, really cool, and I think it's a pretty clever way of keeping the system modular. So hopefully whenever you get the kit and you want to add these abilities to your character, you don't have to, you know, make a child blueprint or anything. All you have to do is add a child actor component to your character, and then add this module, and it should automatically work. All of the code is already here, and everything should work perfectly fine, including the damage system, the health of the character, everything. So yeah, a lot of changes, like I said, in testing, because just making everything modular like this means that I have to retest everything. So I'm still going through that, but I feel that almost everything is done. I just need to polish, test, and add multiplayer, which is gonna be interesting. Never done it, but I need to learn how to do it, so this is a good opportunity. So yeah, I rambled long enough. Let me know what you think. Do you like the changes to the companion system? Is there anything else that I should be looking into? Any abilities that you think would be nice to add? Any suggestions at all? Please do let me know. Again, I do take feedback very seriously. I don't want to make the mistake of releasing something and then miss the mark, right? If there's a feature that a lot of people want, then I want to make sure that it's in there. So yeah, please do let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks.